Hey everybody, my name is Cody Smith, and I just wanted to share a software I've been working on lately with you guys. So I guess let me just share my screen, jump right into it. So basically, the purpose of this software was I wanted to develop a way that is simpler to train new employees at my current workplace. I work as a manager at a call center, and we have to, demonstrate calls to the employees. Oftentimes, what we'll do for that is we'll take pre-recorded calls, kind of sift through them and show them specific parts of the call that would be beneficial for them to hear. It can be kind of a pain sometimes, as you'll have a 10-minute call to go through when the best part of the call is like a 2-minute segment, and you really just want to show them that 2-minute segment. So I was trying to think about a way that would be easier to do that, to be able to split up the calls so that we would be able to save some time. And then I came up with this idea here. Essentially, this is an audio recording splicer, or just divider, however you'd like to say it. I guess the best way to demonstrate it is just to show how it works. So essentially what it does is at the beginning, it asks for the name of a file that you'd like to input. And I already have one pre-downloaded on the computer, which is a.wave, just for simplicity's sake. Currently, I have all the user interface in the terminal, and I'd like to develop a better user interface, especially for people who don't understand coding as well, don't know how to work with terminals. So hopefully I can get that up and running soon. And so anyways, when you click enter, it asks you how many times you would like to split the file. And so this is a 3-minute long recording. And so I'd like to split it in 3 separate pieces. For the timestamps, let's say for the first one, I would like to end it at about 50 seconds. The next one would be 120, and then we'll do 175. So what you can see here is it tells you, okay, I split from 0 to 50 seconds, from 50 to 120 seconds, and from 120 seconds to 175 seconds. So now we have those 3 separate files. Those files go into whatever folder that you want. Honestly, you can export it into any folder. And so when you open these up, it opens it up. It's a WAV file, and you can listen to the call through that. So it's super useful, something I'm pretty excited about implementing at work. There's also a few other files. I'm working with the PyDub library, and so there's some cool features to that I wanted to explore. Another example of that is a transcriber. And so essentially, it's a very simple code. What it does is, again, it just asks the name of the file that you want to transcribe. Okay, let me do, I think I spelled that wrong, yeah. So there's this one I made for transcribing, which is recording.wave. And so it goes through the file, uses the speech recognition library, and will pop it out here in the terminal. Again, I'd like to develop a user interface to make this a little easier to read, a little more cohesive. And so here is the transcription. So yeah, just a couple things I've been working on. I'm super excited. Some of my next goals to work on through communicating with my boss, and some features he would like to see is down here. I'd like to work on a little bit more error handling. So let's say that the user, or whoever's running the program, puts in an invalid timestamp, or they would put in an invalid name of a file, or amount of splits. Like, let's say they put in a letter instead of a number. Do a little bit more error handling for that, which I already do have a little bit. And then also want to have a way to be able to piece the calls back together. So let's say you split a call into 3 chunks, and you want to take 2 of those chunks and put them together so it could just go automatically through. So there's some projects that I'm going to be working on in the future with this code. And then just a really quick overview of what the code looks like. So basically, it starts off with user input. So you create an empty list, and then you ask the user for an input, which is just how many time splits you want. So how many items you're going to input to the list. If we say if the user doesn't input anything, then we'll say just please input a number and run it again. If it's less than or equal to 0, let's say it's an invalid number of entries, so put something greater than 0. Else, what we're going to do is we're going to iterate through the range of the list. And so we'll say, first we'll start off and say, all right, what are the amount of time splits, or what are the timestamps you want to split on? And so it's going to go through each of the number of splits you give it, And it's going to say for each one of those, what is the timestamp you want me to stop at? And then it adds that into a list where it stores its timestamps. Down here, we have a function to actually split the files. And so basically we have two separate variables, and we enumerate the time list. So we say if the first variable I is equal to the length of the time, then we want to, or the length of the list, and we want to end it right there. Otherwise, we take the end. And so the way that these the audio segment function works is it splits it into milliseconds. And so you have to multiply it by 1,000 to get back to seconds. And then essentially what we do is we take the start and the end value, which the start would be 0 initially, and then the end value is whatever the user input as the timestamp they want, times 1,000 to be able to get seconds. And then we piece those together in a chunk, and that chunk is exported into its own file. And then at the end of that, we call that function, and it prints out or takes the list of timestamps and audio and then returns the new files. So yeah, that's basically what it is. I'm super excited about it. And you guys have any suggestions or anything like that, I'd love to see what I can do to help improve this code a bit. Thank you so much.